performance by making him feel worse. Humiliation immobilizes our behavior. And yet coaches are culprits. They're out in the public eye. You stupid idiot. How many times I have to tell you? And the kid's out in the field going, are you kidding me? It's tough enough to get a date as it is. Will you chill out? And then the coach thinks he's all motivational. Get back out there and do the job. And the kid's got his tail between his legs and he's thinking, that coach is such a jerk. Why did I go out for the team? And then he makes another error and the coach pulls him. Unbelievable. Mr. Croft lit up like a Christmas tree. He goes, I got the perfect example. I said, sure. He said he had this kid in his classroom. For 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of school, this kid was a terrorist. He interrupted the whole class. Have we ever been around people like that? They're just trying to get attention any way they can. He said he disrupted the entire class for 2 weeks. He couldn't get anything accomplished. I said, so Mr. Croft, what did you do? Did you kick him out? He got this offended look on his face. He says, Danny, I've taught school for over 25 years, and I've never kicked a kid out. I've never sent a kid to the office. He said, if you lose contact with him, how can you influence his life? I'm like, are you kidding me? I've been in schools before where you walk in, there's a long line of students at the principal's office, down the hall, out the door, past the 9A bus stop. They have tans. They've been out there for 4 months. What's wrong? I got caught screwing goldfish into the pencil sharpener. I'm on murderer's row. I said, so what did you do? He said, I couldn't give up on the kid. For 2 weeks I investigated, and he discovered that this kid played in a rock and roll band. And Mr. Croft discovered that this kid, his rock and roll band was playing in this very Friday night in a smoke-filled honky-tonk redneck bikers bar out in the bushes somewhere. So Mr. Croft talked 5 of his fellow teachers into going with him so that he wouldn't be stabbed all by himself. Now visualize this heavy metal, just kind of wild place. And the heavy metal band's on stage, they're doing their thing, and here comes Mr. Croft and his 5 colleagues. They always wore Argyle sweaters and matching Argyle socks. We called them the GQ crew. They come strolling in the back of this biker's bar, and all of a sudden the band stops dead in their tracks. Coom! Smoke billowing in the rafters. Every single eye on that now quiet dance floor turns and they check out Mr. Croft, and you can hear the lead singer through the microphone talking to the bass player. He says, man, who are those 6 proctologists just came in the back door? Cat says, man, those are teachers from my school. Cups his hands and yells across the dance floor, hey, Mr. Croft, what are you guys doing here? Mr. Croft says his heart starts pounding up into his neck. He has cotton mouth. He can't even breathe. He can barely swallow. He says, we heard your band was incredible. We came to support you. Feeling a little more acceptance, the carburetor fell out of the lead singer's nose. It's like, dude, now Mr. Croft felt more acceptance. Yeah, we heard your band was groovy and we came to check you out. A few giggles from the communication gap. Mr. Croft and his fellow teachers only stayed there 15 minutes. That's all the noise they could take. Friday night. Question. Monday morning, was this kid a discipline problem in Mr. Croft's classroom? No way. Was this kid a discipline problem in Mr. Croft's classroom for the rest of the school year? No way. Was this kid a discipline problem in other teachers' classrooms for the rest of the year? Way. What's the difference? Their knowledge of the curriculum? No. The only place from which a person can grow is where he or she is. We have to go where they are physically and emotionally. Only there can we gently invite them to learn, to grow, to be responsible citizens. It's at the heart and soul of teaching. It's at the heart and soul of parenting. It's at the heart and soul of coaching. Do you understand? It's at the heart and soul of leadership, regardless of what field of endeavor we're engaged in. How could you be a better employee? How could you be a better friend? It's so easy. Find out when one of your friends, as you get a little older and you have some children, you find out somebody who's working in your office, their child is in the school play. So what do you do as coworkers? What do you do as friends on the street? What do you do as college roommates? You find somebody's in a play someplace, somebody's performing. What do you do? What do you do as a Center for Leadership here? Wow, man, yeah. Ashley's in this play. We got to go. And you show up, and Mrs. Jex is like, what are you doing here? Where Ashley was in the school play. She's a tree. She's just holding a branch in the shadows. So, we heard she was the best tree at UVU. We are here for you. And you know what happens when you understand the law of attraction and setting expectations and hanging around with the right people and doing all the right things because you like yourself and you can like others? You love yourself, you can love others. You trust yourself so you can trust others. And all these things that we've talked about are now practical application implements, practical application tools, if you will, for leadership. When that happens, it's amazing what happens afterwards and the residual impact you can have on others. Mr. Croft was my hero. And he taught me to give more than you take away. Huh? So as I got a little more established, I decided I'm going to volunteer as a Little League football coach. My first year coaching, Josh was not on the team. 13-year-olds, none of them had ever played football before. One dude showed up at the first practice with his pants on backwards. Why would you want a pat on the back? I'm like, hey, no questions asked. He just couldn't bend over. So I had to figure out who could catch, who could throw, who could run. I had to formulate a team in my own mind before we ever got into the season. What would you do? I lined up these young men into 2 equal lines, and I just started throwing them passes. Go out for a pass, I'll throw it to you. 2.5 days into practice, out on the field walks this tall little skinny kid straight from class. Reminded me of myself. He was so skinny he had to jump around in the shower to get wet. I said, may I help you? He says, yes, coach, I want to play football. Real intense kid. I said, really? Don't you want to go home and change your clothes? He had on his jeans, his loafers. He said, coach, I've already missed 2 days of practice. I don't want to miss any more. Is it okay if I stay? I'm like, good answer. I said, yeah, get in line. Comes time for him to go out for his first pass. I drop back. He goes out for his first pass. I launch this pass. It hits him right in the head. Goes over, runs over, picks up the bowling ball, races it back to me, hands it to me in my chest, gets back in line. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty amazing. Comes time for him to go out for his second pass. I drop back, throw the second ball, hit him in the other side of the head. Like, whoa, what's up with this? He goes over, picks up the bowling ball, races it back, hands it to me in my chest, gets back in line. It's like Jane Fonda. He's over there trying to stretch out. He's doing those little things. I'm like, whoa. Comes time for him to go out for his third pass. I had to get him the ball. I drop back. I carefully unleash this long, high floater, kind of a wounded duck. To see the slow-mo, he's running. He dives for the ball, can't catch a cold little on a football, lands right in the middle of a mud puddle. He's not discouraged. He runs over, picks up this mucky, mossy ball, races it back to me, slaps it to me in my chest, gets back in line. I'm like, I better have a talk with this kid before he kills himself. Pull him out of line. Hey, dude, we got to have a talk. I said, why are you here? I said, why are you playing football? Are you here because your dad wants you to play football? Are you here because your friends want you to play football? Why are you here? I'll never forget his answer. He looks up at me with those big brown eyes. He says, Coach, he said, I'm here because I want to play football. And I promise if you'll help me, I know I can do it. I said, what's your name? He said, Tommy Croft. I said, does your dad teach you anthropology? Excuse me. Does your dad teach anthropology at East High School? He goes, I think so. I said, get back in line. Here was my chance to be a Croft to a Croft. Here's my chance to put something in that I'd been taking out for all these years. That was the first time in my life that I understood practical application leadership. That it's not what the title is, it's what we do when we're given an opportunity, if that title gives us that opportunity, good. But it's what we do in any situation where leadership becomes automatic and we don't have to think about it. We just rise to the occasion and make sure we do the right thing simply because it's the right thing to do. And when we start doing that, people like to be around us. I've said that so many times. Do you agree that at the end of the day, it's not what you do, it's who you do it with? Proof, do any of you have horses? Any of you ever seen a horse? Do you realize when you put a hard-to-catch horse in the same field with an easy-to-catch horse, most of the time you end up with 2 hard-to-catch horses? In the human experience, you realize when